What's good, y'all? Coach V here, and you are listening to the Playmakers Corner podcast. This is episode 399, and I have your 2024 Colorado Girls Flag Football Week 3 recap here. We got a lot of games that we attended live that we'll be recapping, as well as some games that we did not attend that we'll recap anyways and talk about scores as we go on. And then, of course, Playmaker of the Week and Power Rankings. And so it's been a busy week. Let's go ahead and hop into it.
All right. It is one of your co-hosts for this episode doing a recap. Kodey Stoffer here. And I'm here to talk about the September 7th matchup between Bruce Randolph and Denver West. This game happened at Denver West at 9 a.m. And I was fortunate enough to swing by there and catch what turned out to be a very exciting 4A matchup here between two Denver schools here. So to start, Bruce Randolph had the ball, and they actually drove down the field all the way until they were actually in the red zone here, but unfortunately, the West defense stiffened up here and forced the Randolph Grizzlies into a 3rd and goal situation where they would not gain nothing. And then on 4th and goal, they would have a false start here and call a double reverse after getting pushed back. And this would actually end up being a flagpole for a loss here, giving West the ball on their own 21-yard line and giving them a chance to respond here. Now, they started on their own 21, and they did a fake handoff left, then handoff right to number 21, who's listed as Shukri Hussein here. I wonder if that's related to Hussein from the tackle team last year. But anyways, she gets a handoff and picks up 13 yards to start this drive. Now, on 2nd down, they do another handoff, but that is pulled short. And then they pass over the middle to number 23, Celeste Marquez here, who makes a catch for a 1st down to the other 36-yard line. So now they are in Bruce Randolph territory. Nothing really happens on the next play, but then the quarterback here lets one rip. That's Marilyn Vega, who finds number 23 again, Celeste Marquez, down the left sideline, who makes a catch and isn't stopped until the 4-yard line here. They then dial up a double reverse to number 18, who's not listed on the roster here, but she ends up scoring the touchdown here. And then 21, once again, Hussein runs it in, making it 7-0 here in the first quarter. Now, Bruce Randolph, they call a reverse pass to number 27, who's listed as Estes Johnson here, who makes a catch and gets all the way to the 49-yard line, or the 39-yard line, before getting her flags pulled. And that ends the first quarter. They then call a reverse deep shot again, this time almost being intercepted, but luckily falls harmlessly to the turf. Now, there's going to be a read option that's kept by number 10, Jenna Dickerson here, the quarterback, who gets a 1st down and some all the way to the 23-yard line going in. After an offsides, Bruce Randolph is now in the red zone here, and Dickerson is going to keep right again and get another 1st here. But after a false start and a botched handoff, it is now 2nd and goal from the 25. They throw it right here, but they're going to throw it right to number 9, Marilyn Vega, who makes a top shelf interception here and returns it all the way to the house, giving Denver West a 13-0 lead here in the second quarter. And honestly, they have a ton of momentum at this point. The PAT is no good, but a solid 2 scores and a great play by Marilyn Vega. Be sure to check out that highlight on TikTok at Playmakers Corner. Now, Bruce Randolph back with the ball. They call a quarterback keeper that picks up a 1st. However, Denver West is going to respond with Marquez, number 23, again getting a flagpole for a loss. After a quick pass sets up 3rd and 10, there's going to be a rollout right that gets to the 38 here and gets a 1st down past midfield. So that's the opposing 38. Now, there's going to be a pass rush 2 plays later where number 10, Dickerson, once again slides between the 2 rushers and makes another defender miss, weaving all the way to the 21-yard line. Now, after a few incompletions here, it's going to be 4th and short here, and they're going to call Dickerson's number again, who keeps and gets a 1st down. They follow that up with a jet sweep left that doesn't really gain much. And then Celeste Marquez gets another flagpole for loss for Denver West. And now it's 3rd and way long. And on 3rd and way long, it's going to be nearly intercepted here by Denver West. But it's going to fall harmlessly to the turf. And Bruce Randolph is going to burn a timeout here with 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the half at 4th and goal from the 23-yard line heading in. But that chalk talk does them no good as Celeste Marquez once again gets a sack and forces a turnover on downs, giving Denver West the ball from their own 27-yard line. Now, they hand off here and gain a few yards, have a drop pass, and then number 33, Alejandra Covarrubias, I want to say. Sorry if I'm butchering any of these names, by the way, but Alejandra of Bruce Randolph gets a sack, forcing a 4th down that is going to basically take us to the half. Now, Denver West, to start the second half here, up 13-0, unfortunately just cannot get a handoff done properly as they try 2 consecutive reverses where the ball ends up on the turf, including that second one that actually hits the turf in the end zone, resulting in a safety, making it 2-13 and Bruce Randolph's ball here. Now, there's going to be a flagpole that is just short before the first down when Bruce Randolph starts their drive. And then Celeste Marquez on second down is going to get a flagpole for loss. After a false start, it's starting to look like this might not be a great drive. However, there's going to be a throw right, and it is going to be popped up in the air. And number 27, Estes Johnson, makes the catch and bursts down the right sideline, not being stopped until the 27-yard line, going in for Bruce Randolph here. Now, on the very next play, Zahara Mohammed here gets a pass deflection that maybe should have been intercepted here, but luckily is not for Bruce Randolph here. And after an incompletion, they are starting at 3rd and 7 here when they call a reverse. Now, they get a flag guard. They don't lose the down. They just missed that part, but it doesn't matter because Celeste Marquez is going to get a sack and force a punt. Now, West is going to start here downfield, and they're going to try and open up with a pass, but 33, Covarrubias here, gets a pass deflection on the pass rush here, resulting in an incompletion on first down. It's going to be a handoff left here to 8, who picks up a huge gain here, pushing them all the way outside the red zone here, but after a false start and a tipped pass, making it short, it's going to be 4th and 3 until the 20-yard line here, and they're going to try a handoff, but that is unfortunately going to be swallowed up here by number 1 for Bruce Randolph, not listed on the roster, but I saw the play that she made out there, and that was a big flagpole for loss that forces a turnover on downs and gives Bruce Randolph the ball on their own 25-yard line. Not a great start to this drive, though, as it is an errant snap followed by a false start here that is going to just not gain a ton of yards. And then a pass to 10 is also not super fruitful here. Now, it's 3rd and a long 23 here to end the 3rd quarter. And to start the 4th quarter, who else other than Celeste Marquez gets a sack here? And that's going to make it a 4th down here. And on the punt, backed up in their own territory here, the snap is going to be too high, making it 15-2 here early in the 4th quarter, as that will result in a safety against Bruce Randolph and for the Cowboys. So kind of a really, really bad drive for Bruce Randolph. Started on their own 25-yard line, and with missed snaps, penalties, sacks, ends up giving 2 points to Denver West here. Now, the Cowboys have to be smelling, or Cowgirls in this instance, have to be smelling blood in the water here, but they start off with a few incompletions here before setting up 4th and inches and take a timeout. Now, they call a fake run left and then hand off right to 21 Hussein, who picks up a first down. That good time is going to be shortly interrupted by a snap that is not great on the next one. And then number 1 for the Grizzlies here gets another big flagpole for loss here that is going to put Denver West into a big hole here. And they try and throw and take a shot here, but it's going to be intercepted by number 27, Estes Johnson. She's having an incredible game here. I want to say that's Tamaya here, who now has a few receptions and now an interception to her name, just being an absolute two-way monster. Now, Randolph starts with the ball in the red zone already, and Estes Johnson will not be denied as she gets a great catch and run, putting them all the way at the 1-yard line. Now, Denver West stiffens up here and gets a stop as they sense a run here, setting up 3rd and goal, where number 10, Jenna Dickerson, keeps it herself and extends for the score, making it 8-15 here. They attempt a 2-point conversion for some reason, but that is not going to be good. But it is now a 1-score game with Denver West trying to hold on to this lead. Now, the Cowboys have 4 minutes left to try and kill this clock, and they are just not in a good spot as they have a drop to start the drive and then a false start right after, and they take a timeout trying to settle down here, but they come out of the timeout with a drop. And then there's going to be another interception thrown, this time intercepted by Safiro Perez, my bad. And I'm just so excited because she runs all the way inside the 5-yard line with 3:20 to go. And now Bruce Randolph has a chance to tie or take the lead, depending on if they score a touchdown and what they do on the PAT here. Now, Bruce Randolph, they have no gain on first down, and they're going to burn a timeout here. I think it's a good timeout here. And they have 3 yards to go to be within 1 and then tie or take a lead. But Denver West, who else other than Celeste Marquez here, gets another sack. I want to say that's like her 5th sack of the game. She's having an amazing performance, trying to stifle this Bruce Randolph effort here. And Bruce Randolph on the very next play, throw an incomplete pass, setting up 4th down. And now they have no choice but to go for it here, as if they don't go for it, A, they're in a great position to try and score, and B, that will probably effectively end the game here. Now on 4th down, number 10 looks left, evades pressure, rolls right, and takes off and scores with 1:57 left on the clock. The Grizzlies are now down 14-15 here to try and tie it up. They are going to go for a 1-point conversion here now at the 2-minute warning, but I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it a million times in this recap. Celeste Marquez gets a sack on the PAT attempt, keeping the Denver West lead 15-14 here. And West is just trying to get out of here with a narrow victory, but they miss a handoff on 1st down here. Now the quarterback on 2nd down keeps right and gets some contact. Very slow to get up, and it's going to be an injury timeout with 1:33 to go here. And then they get the defense to jump offsides, and that sets up 3rd and 4 here. But number 33, Alejandro Covarrubias, is not going to be denied as she gets a flagpole for loss, setting up 4th down and forcing a Denver West punt, giving Bruce Randolph the ball with 30 seconds and 32 yards to go here. Now, Bruce Randolph, they have a couple of timeouts here, but that's not going to be used, interestingly enough here, as on the very first play, Celeste Marquez gets a sack, and Bruce Randolph doesn't call a timeout, and time is just ticking away. They don't get a snap off until 5 seconds. They throw up a prayer, and it's going to be intercepted and ran all the way for a touchdown for Denver West, giving us a final of 21-14 here. Denver West narrowly surviving a second half meltdown here. Just talking about some takeaways here. It was good to get some 4A football in here, and this was the most competitive game of this little Denver West Invitational today, or on Saturday, as some of the other scores not as enticing here, but just talking about some players here from Bruce Randolph first. Number 27, Tamaya Estes Johnson, put on an absolute show here. Number 10, Jenna Dickerson, their quarterback here, is a really good athlete here. Just still kind of getting used to the game, I think, a little bit, honestly. And then number 33, Alejandro Covarrubias, and number 1 on defense. I wish that I had her name. They were keeping this defense in the game with a good pass rush and good reactions to run defense here. Now, unfortunately, this loss does put Bruce Randolph to 1-3 on the season, and their next game is going to be, well, I'm recording this September 9th, so it would have already happened against Denver East tomorrow/yesterday by the time you listen to this recording. Now, on the Denver West side here, Denver West is going to be an interesting team. I think that they might be a team that could sneak in to the back end of the postseason. They obviously have some good athletes like Shukri Hussain. Once again, Hussein. Sorry if I am butchering any of these. And then they also will be monitoring the injury status of number 9, Marilyn Vega, who had the pick six and was the quarterback for the majority of this game. We will see if she is ready to go heading down the rest of the season. I'm not even sure if she played in the game against Denver South. But the big watch here, I think, has to be Celeste Marquez. I mean, like 5 or 6 sacks in a game and multiple flagpoles for loss. That has to be a very close to Playmaker of the Week performance here. And in addition to that, that has to put her on the radar for all PMC teams or awards heading down the stretch. Please put in your stats if you can here. Now, Denver West, they end the weekend 3-2 after losing to Denver South after Bruce Randolph, but they have a winning record heading down the stretch of their season as they try and make some history for the Cowgirls flag football team. I have been your host for this segment, Kodey Stauffer, and peace.
What is good, y'all? This is Gino with the Playmakers Corner podcast, and I want to welcome you all to another week of girls flag football coverage here in the state of Colorado for the 2024 season. We had a very exciting set of games here played at the NAC Stadium, home of the Ralston Valley Mustangs, where the Mustangs were hosting Arvada West and Valor Christian. These are very, very good teams here. All three of them rank in our top 10. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and recap our first game here, where we have Valor facing off against Arvada West, where Valor is facing their very first top 10 opponent on the season. Starting this game off here, it is 1st and 6 for Valor to start off this game, but they would actually end up going 3 and out here as Alyssa Alberts of Arvada West gets a sack on 3rd down to force the punt, and it will now be 1st and 6 here for Arvada West near midfield. On 1st down, Reese Beiser, sorry if I mispronounced that one there, bats down a pass on the out route from the QB Sailor Swanson to make it 2nd and 6. On 2nd down, Swanson scrambles left over midfield for the big-time 1st down to make it 1st and 16 here. A quick pass to Sarah Walker is stopped by Abby Brown for an 8-yard gain, and then it is the same play on the very next snap to Sarah Walker as she trucks a defender for a 1st down into the red zone. It will be 1st and 18 here for Arvada West. On 1st down, a quick out to Molly Shellpepper goes for 9 yards, and then Swanson rolls out left and finds a receiver near the end zone to make it 3rd and 1. On 3rd and 1, Arvada West sends Sarah Walker in motion as Sailor Swanson finds her on a quick out in the slot for an Arvada West touchdown. They go up 7-0 here after Molly Shellpepper takes in the extra point early here in the first quarter. It will be 1st and 6 for Valor following the score. After an incompletion, the QB Faith Prinzo's pass to Savannah Prinzo goes for 3 yards. And then on 3rd down, Alexis Wood takes the quick completion for a 1st down. On 1st and 16, Isabella Tehran shuts down a screen pass for a loss of 1. And then Harper Tillman shuts down a QB scramble after a yard. And it will be 3rd and 16 here as Valor calls timeout. Following the timeout, a false start on Valor makes it 3rd and 21. And then Alyssa Alberts makes another great play here. She shuts down the power option after a yard. And it will be 4th and 20 here as Valor will set up to punt. But it looks like an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Valor coach as an argument breaks out here from the Valor bench about the ball that Valor wanted to use. The ref said that the ball did not say youth football on it, so they could not use it. And Valor argued a little bit, and the ref threw the flag a little too early there. But it will be 4th and 30 here nonetheless, and Valor will still punt the ball. And it was an amazing punt, by the way, as it is now 1st and 15 for Arvada West, deep in their own territory as that ball just kept rolling there. On 1st down, Jade Harry gets a sack to make it 2nd and 21 here. That's a loss of 6. And then a pass over the middle to Alyssa Alberts makes it 3rd and 16. On 3rd and long, Sailor Swanson somehow spins out of several flagpoles on a scramble as she gets the 1st down across midfield to make it 1st and 17 here. A dangerous pass to Sarah Walker is nearly picked off by Reese Beiser to make it 2nd and 16 as Valor calls timeout here. Following the timeout, a screen pass is incomplete, and then Sailor Swanson is flushed out right and finds a receiver, but offsetting penalties makes it a repeat of 3rd down, and that, folks, would take us into the end of the first quarter where Arvada West is leading Valor Christian 7-0. It is 3rd and 17 here for Arvada West to start off the second quarter, but it looks like Margot Harry gets a big-time sack on Sarah Swanson as Swanson is flushed out right there. It will be 4th and 22 for Arvada West, and they will punt it here. It is 1st and 8 here for Valor following the punt, but they would actually end up punting it themselves here for yet another 3 and out. It looks like Aubrey Cespedes shut down a screen pass to make it 2nd and long, and she then made another big-time clutch flag pull on 3rd down that would force the punt. So definitely a big-time defensive drive there for Aubrey Cespedes. It is now Arvada West ball here following the punt as Santana Pena gets a massive return just short of the red zone here for Arvada West. It will be 1st and 1. A questionable pass interference call on a deep pass to Sarah Walker in the end zone makes it 1st and 10 here in the red zone. A pass to Alexis Mays goes for 8 yards, but a flag guard makes it 2nd and 20. Sailor Swanson is untouchable on the next snap as she runs it and makes multiple defenders miss there on the flagpole for a huge gain to make it 3rd and 6. A short pass goes to Katie Hufford, and that makes it 4th and 4. And then on 4th down, an incomplete pass is dropped, so that will be a turnover on downs here. It is now 1st and 16 for Valor near their own end zone. On 1st down, it is none other than the freshman Harper Tillman who picks off the pass to give the ball right back to the Arvada West offense. It will be 1st and 8 here for Arvada West following that interception from Tillman. And on the very first play of the drive, Sailor Swanson rolls out left and surveys and throws an absolute dot to a jumping Sarah Walker for the touchdown. It is now 14-0 after Katie Hufford took in the extra point here. So it will be 1st and 6 for Valor following that score here from Arvada West. Faith Prinzo floats a pass on 1st down to Savannah Prinzo for 5 yards. And then on 2nd down, Prinzo then hits Alexis Wood on a slant for a nice gain to make it 1st and 14 here. It is another slant to Alexis Wood on the next play. That goes for 8 yards. And then Prinzo lobs up a dime to Alexis Wood once again for a massive gain near the red zone. It will be 1st and 1 here for Valor. On 1st down, a short pass to Ellie Johnson gets them the 1st down, and the Eagles are pounding on that door as they reach the red zone for the first time on the day. On 1st and 13, it is Emerson Drake who shuts down the Valor drive. She picks off the pass over the middle and gives the ball right back to the Arvada West offense as they look to go up 3 scores here. It is now 1st and 10 here for Arvada West deep in their own territory. On 1st down, a bullet pass to Alyssa Alberts over the middle goes for a 1st down. That will be 1st and 19. And then a check down to Katie Hufford goes for 4 yards. And then an illegal block on the next snap makes it 2nd and 25 here for Arvada West. On 2nd and very long, Swanson throws an absolute dime and bullet to Molly Shellpepper for a 1st down, but offsetting penalties makes it 2nd and 25 once again. Another illegal block on the next snap on the incomplete pass, but Valor declines it here to make it 3rd and 25. There's 1:28 left here in the half. An illegal contact on Valor on the very next snap makes it 3rd and 13, so you start to think maybe they should have accepted that penalty. On 3rd and 13 here, Sailor Swanson is flushed out right and keeps it for yet another big-time scramble across midfield. That is a 1st down for Arvada West, 1st and 18 here. Swanson would actually keep it on the next play here as she bulldozes a defender for an illegal contact flag to make it 1st and 23. On 1st and 23, Santana Pena uses her speed and takes a quick pass down the sideline for about 13 yards to make it 2nd and 10. On 2nd and 10, Sailor Swanson rolls out left, avoids a sack, and lobs up an absolute dime to Molly Shellpepper down the sideline in stride as Shellpepper takes that one in. It is now 20-0 with 25 seconds left here in the half. And that will be our score here heading into halftime as Arvada West leads Valor 20-0. 1st and 6 here for Arvada West to start off the half. On first down, a pass to Alyssa Alberts goes for a first down to make it 1st and 19. And then a check down to Emma Verdugo is stopped for no gain. And then Jade Harry gets a big-time sack through 2 blocks to make it 3rd and 23. Nice game here from Harry. On 3rd and long, Sailor Swanson rolls out right and finds an open Alyssa Alberts for about 15 yards to make it 4th and 8. On 4th and manageable, Swanson dots up none other than Sarah Walker for the big-time first down. 1st and 16 here for Arvada West. Swanson connects with Walker again on first down for 8 yards, and then Swanson rolls out right and hits Alexa Mays in stride for about 5 more yards to make it 3rd and 3. On 3rd and short, Swanson finds Alexis Mays for about 3 yards, so it will be 4th and 1 here. On 4th down, it is Sarah Walker who takes the pass for a first down into the red zone here. 1st and 10 for Arvada West. On 1st down, Santana Pena catches a pass and slips for a couple of yards, so it will be 2nd and 8 here. On 2nd down, Sailor Swanson keeps it and avoids several flagpoles as she sneaks in for her 4th touchdown of the game. And then she finds a receiver on the extra point to make it 27-0, and that will end this recap here. Arvada West would get the win here over Valor, 27-12. So that is a massive, massive win over Valor, an undefeated Valor squad at that. But let's go ahead and move on to our next game here, where Arvada West is facing off against another very tough squad, the home team, Ralston Valley. It is 1st and 6 here for Arvada West to start off this game. On first down, Sailor Swanson lobs up a jump ball to Sarah Walker, who head tops her receiver on the first snap of the game, as it is now a first down near midfield. On 1st and 5, a pass to Alyssa Alberts gets them the first down across midfield. On 1st and 20, Swanson finds Katie Hufford under pressure, who uses her legs to make it 2nd and 6 now. Following a dropped pass, Swanson surveys and scrambles for about 4 yards, so it will now be 4th and 2. On 4th and 2, Molly Shellpepper takes a short pass from Swanson for a nice gain into the red zone to make it 1st and 7. On first down, Sarah Walker nearly comes down with a jump ball in the end zone, but it will now be 2nd and 7 as there is an injury timeout here with 8:04 left here in the first quarter. Following the injury timeout, an incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 7. And on 3rd down, Sailor Swanson drops an absolute dime to Molly Shellpepper in the back of the end zone as Shellpepper makes an amazing jumping toe touch grab to make it 6-0 here. And then Sarah Walker makes a jumping grab for the extra point. So Arvada West now leads 7-0 with 7:25 left in the first quarter. 1st and 6 here for Ralston Valley. Zoe Zoll finds a crossing Emma O'Connor, who is stopped by Harper Tillman short of the first down. It will be 2nd and 2. And then a sweep to Ashlyn Callahan on 2nd and short as she gets the first down here, 1st and 18. On 1st and 18, Lindley McReynolds gets a big-time pressure and forces an incomplete pass. And then a bad pitch on a fake sweep toss is dropped to make it 3rd and 30. And then a check down to Emma O'Connor goes for 9 yards. But Ralston would end up punting here on 4th and 21 with 4:29 left here in the first quarter. It is 1st and 4 near midfield following the punt for Arvada West. A sweep goes to Santana Pena for a first down, and then a check down to Katie Hufford under pressure as she gets about 6 yards on the carry there to make it 2nd and 14. On 2nd down, Sailor Swanson dances around for a few yards, and then a pass to Alyssa Alberts over the middle, but an illegal block on the A-West defense makes it 3rd and 20 here. On 3rd and 20, a pass back to Molly Shellpepper as she finds Alyssa Alberts for a nice gain to make it 4th and 8. That is a very, very manageable 4th and 8 here for Arvada West as Swanson rolls out left and forces the defense to leave Sarah Walker wide open for a first down near the sideline. It is 1st and 16 here for Arvada West. On 1st and long, Swanson lobs one up to none other than Sarah Walker for the touchdown to make it 13-0 with less than a minute left here in the first quarter. Alexis Mays caught the extra point, so it will be 14-0 here. On 1st and 6 here for Ralston Valley, a pass outside to Emma O'Connor as she makes 2 defenders miss for a first down and a nice gain to make it 1st and 14. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter, folks. Arvada West is leading Ralston Valley 14-0 early on in this game. It is 1st and 14 here for Ralston Valley to start off the second quarter. Ashlyn Callahan takes the pass from Zozal and gets shut down for a nice gain to make it 2nd and 2. And then a reverse to Callahan goes for no gain. And then on 3rd and 2, a check down to Izzy Busey. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that, for a first down to make it 1st and 18. On 1st down, an end around goes to Ashlyn Callahan for about 11 yards, and then a pass to Izzy Busey for another few yards to make it 3rd and 3. An incomplete pass on 3rd down is intended for Ashlyn Callahan, so it will be 4th and 3 here near the red zone. On 4th down, it is Harper Tillman who speeds up and gets a massive flagpole to force a turnover on downs. Tillman showing off that close-in speed. She is definitely one of the more athletic players on any defense in the state. But it will be Arvada West ball here, but they would actually end up turning the ball over on downs as well on this next drive. So let's go ahead and skip ahead a little bit where it is now 1st and 6 for Ralston Valley with 4:59 left in the half. Zozal avoids the sack and throws an incompletion, and then a quick out to Emma O'Connor goes for 4 yards to make it 3rd and 2. Following that, an incomplete pass makes it 4th and 2, and then Danica Rodriguez-Gonzalez gets a clutch flagpole on a pass to Ashlyn Callahan for an absolutely clutch turnover on downs here with 3:08 left in the first half. It is now 1st and 18 for Arvada West following that turnover on downs. Sarah Walker catches a slant for about 11 yards, and then Ashlyn Callahan makes a great play on the ball to deflect a pass to make it 3rd and 7. On 3rd and 7, Swanson hits Hayden Briscoe on a short crosser for 3 yards, so it will be 4th and 4 here for Arvada West. On 4th down, Ashlyn Callahan picks off the pass near the sideline to shut down that Arvada West drive. Arvada West was threatening there to score, but it doesn't matter here as Callahan gets the ball back to Ralston Valley. It is 1st and 17 here for Ralston following the pick with 50 seconds left in the half. The first down pass is nearly picked off, and then on 2nd and 17, it is none other than Harper Tillman who is having an insane day so far as she gets a flagpole on a reverse, and that will be a safety, folks. It is 16-0 with 37 seconds left, and Arvada West will get a chance to score yet again here. 1st and 6 here for A West following that safety. A deep pass is dropped, and then on 2nd and 6, Sailor Swanson lobs up a dime to Sarah Walker, who burns her defender down the sideline for a touchdown. It is now 24-0 after the extra point with 15 seconds left in the half. And folks, that will do it in this recap here as Arvada West gets a dominant 30-14 win over a very tough Ralston Valley squad. They end the day with a 2-0 record, and they actually had a 44-point differential between those two games in the first half. They were up 20-0 against Valor at half, and then they were up 24-0 against Ralston Valley at half. So just pure absolute domination here for Arvada West as they end the day with a 2-0 record. But let's go ahead and jump into this last game here of the day where we have Ralston Valley taking on Valor Christian for the first time this season. This is definitely going to be a good game, so let's go ahead and jump right into this recap where we have Ralston Valley ball 1st and 6 to start off the game. Zozal rolls out right on 1st down and hits Emma O'Connor for a first down to make it 1st and 17. And then a Zoll keeper is shut down by Jade Harry to make it 2nd and 18. And then a false start is pushed back 5 yards. Following the false start on 2nd and 23, a quick pass to Emma O'Connor is shut down by Reese Beiser to make it 3rd and 21 here. On 3rd and long, Abby Brown gets a flag pull to shut down the drive, but illegal contact on Valor makes it 3rd and 4. A reverse to Ashlyn Callahan gets them the first down across midfield as they take advantage of that big-time penalty there. On 1st and 18, Margot Harry gets a pressure and forces an incompletion. Stella Westcott shuts down a quick pass on 2nd and long, but it looks like illegal contact to make it 2nd and 8 here for the Ralston Valley offense. A quick pass from Zozal to Emma O'Connor nearly gets the first down. And then on 3rd and 2, Zozal finds Emma O'Connor once again for the first down, but an illegal block makes it 3rd and 12 here. On 3rd and 12, Morgan Wood breaks up a pass over the middle, so it will be 4th and 12. And then on 4th down, a deep pass intended for Carmen Johnson is a good pass, but it falls incomplete, so it will be a turnover on downs. Those penalties really wrecked that drive there for Ralston Valley. 1st and 8 here for Valor following that turnover on downs. On 1st down, the pass over to Savannah Kahn gets the first down across midfield, and then a dangerous pass is dropped to make it 2nd and 15. On 2nd and 15, Alexis Wood gets the reception and jukes a defender for a nice gain to make it 3rd and 4. On 3rd down, a slant to Alexis Wood once again gets them the first down to make it 1st and 19. On 1st and 19, a drag route to Ellie Johnson for a nice gain, but a legal block makes it 1st and 24 here. A lot of illegal block and illegal contact penalties in this game so far. And then on 2nd and 24, Carmen Johnson gets a sack on the power option to make it 3rd and 27. Johnson showing off some of that playmaking ability here to make it 3rd and very long for the Valor offense. On 3rd and 27, Alexis Wood catches a jump ball along the sideline for a nice gain here to make it 4th and 7. That is a very manageable amount of yards here for Valor. On 4th and 7, Faith Prinzo hits Savannah Prinzo open in the end zone for a touchdown. That is far from their only touchdown connection in this game, folks, as Valor takes a 7-0 lead after Ellie Johnson caught the extra point here with 2:23 left in the first quarter. It is 1st and 6 here for Ralston Valley, but they would actually end up turning the ball over on downs here, as it looks like, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce this, Kian Hazelriggs comes out of nowhere here on 4th down to shut down a pass for a turnover on downs. It will be 1st and 19 here for Valor. A double pass is incomplete to make it 2nd and 19, and that would take us to the end of the first quarter here as Valor leads Ralston Valley 7-0. And it turns out that Valor would actually turn the ball over on downs as well, as Izzy Busey broke up a pass on 3rd and long, and that would give the ball to Ralston Valley 1st and 15 here following that turnover on downs. Zozal scrambles on 1st down, but it is stopped by Winter Keo, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, for 2 yards. That will be 2nd and 13. A dangerous pass on 2nd down is nearly picked off by Sadie Lee. On 3rd and long, Zozal lobs it up, and it is picked off by Kian Hazelriggs to put Valor near the red zone once again with 8:25 left here in the half. It will be 1st and 6 for Valor following that interception from Hazelriggs. On 1st down, a drag to Ellie Johnson goes for the first down in the red zone to make it 1st and 19. And then a slant to Savannah Kahn goes for 5 yards. And on 2nd and 14, Alexis Wood makes a crazy jumping grab over 2 defenders for the Valor touchdown. She is absolutely balling out today to give Valor a 13-0 lead with 7:20 left in the half. It is 1st and 6 here for Ralston Valley, but they would end up punting it here as Margot Harry had her name all over this drive. She got a sack and a couple of stops, and that would make it 1st and 4 here for Valor following the punt from Ralston Valley. A first down pass makes it 1st and 18, and then Savannah Prinzo takes a catch for the nice gain to make it 2nd and 9. On second down, Faith Prinzo pitches the power option to Savannah Kahn for a first down across midfield. On 1st and 13, it is the same play, but it is stopped by Emma O'Connor to make it 2nd and 11. On 2nd and 11, Savannah Kahn takes a quick pass over the middle near the red zone to make it 3rd and 4. Emma O'Connor makes another great play defensively on this drive and bats down a pass to make it 4th and 4 as Valor calls timeout here with 1:52 left in the half. Following the timeout, a QB keeper is stopped for a turnover on downs. And after a couple of punts from both teams, that will take us to halftime, folks, where Valor leads Ralston Valley 13-0. It will be Valor ball here to start off the second half, 1st and 6. On first down, a slant to Savannah Kahn goes for a huge gain and puts the Eagles near midfield. It will be 1st and 3 here. On first down, it is another first down pass as a pitch back to Savannah Prinzo gets them the first down to make it 1st and 18. On 1st and 18, Alexis Wood makes another jumping grab for a first down in the red zone. Alexis Wood really showing off that advanced athletic ability over her defenders to continue to push the ball ahead for Valor. On 1st and 16, a receiver drops a pitch, but illegal contact on Valor makes it 2nd and 22. On 2nd and long, Faith Prinzo pitches it back to Savannah Kahn for 7 yards to make it 3rd and 15. On 3rd and long, a Shelby Colissimo gets a flagpole on a QB run to make it 4th and 11. On 4th and 11, Faith Prinzo makes a tough throw to none other than Savannah Prinzo near the sideline for a crazy touchdown. Prinzo had 2 defenders completely latched onto her, but Faith Prinzo was still able to sneak it in there along the sideline for a toe touch touchdown to put Valor up 20-0 here, as it was Savannah Prinzo who got that extra point in with 8:34 left here in the game. With 8:34 here left in the third quarter. It is 1st and 6 here for Ralston, and they really need a score here as they have now fallen behind 3 scores. A short pass to Emma O'Connor goes for 5 yards, and then a quick pass to O'Connor again gets them the first down. It will be 1st and 16. On first down, Ashlyn Callahan takes a crosser and dodges a defender for a big-time first down across midfield here for the Mustangs. On 1st and 14, a quick pass to Emma O'Connor makes it 2nd and 9, and then a reverse to Ashlyn Callahan makes it 3rd and 3. On 3rd and 3, it is the freshman Stella Westcott who gets a massive potential back-breaking sack to make it 4th and 11, and then Jade Harry would put the nail in the coffin here as she gets another sack for a turnover on downs. It will be 1st and 1 near midfield here for Valor with 4:28 left here in the third quarter. Faith Prinzo surveys and hits an open Savannah Prinzo for a first down across midfield. It will be 1st and 8 here. On 1st and 8, Prinzo pitches it back to Savannah Prinzo on the option for a first down into the red zone, 1st and 16. On 1st and 16, Prinzo keeps it and her pitch goes out of bounds, but that will make it 2nd and 10 nonetheless. On 2nd down, a pass to Savannah Kahn is stopped short of the goal line by Emma O'Connor, so it will be 3rd and 3 here for Valor. On 3rd and 3, Savannah Prinzo takes a pitch in for her 3rd touchdown of the game, and it is now 26-0 with 1:55 left in the third quarter, and that would end this recap right there as Valor gets an absolutely dominating win over Ralston Valley, 26-0. And folks, before I wrap up this recap, I definitely want to talk about each of these teams individually, starting off with Arvada West. They looked completely unstoppable against 2 very good teams and even went up by 4 scores in both games before putting in their backups in the second half. Sailor Swanson looked like she was leagues ahead of the defenses she faced and definitely looked a lot more confident than the last time we saw her against Mountain Vista in week 1. Sarah Walker, of course, did her thing as she had numerous touchdowns and jump balls throughout the day. And then you also had Molly Shellpepper and Santana Pena rounding out maybe the best receiving corps in the state. I'm not sure that anyone can beat Arvada West with how good they were playing on Saturday, honestly. Defensively, there's a lot to be excited about too, including freshman defensive back / middle linebacker Harper Tillman, who had some huge plays throughout the day on Saturday, including an interception and a tackle for loss that ended up turning into a safety. Now let's go ahead and talk about Valor Christian. Honestly, I am not going to dock too many points from Valor for that game against Arvada West. Because they still showed a lot of promise in that game despite the score. Combine that with the fact that they completely dominated Ralston Valley in the game after that, and I am definitely feeling a lot better about Valor than I did before getting to see them play. Receivers Alexis Wood and Savannah Prinzo both had huge plays in both games, and QB Faith Prinzo showed a lot of promise and confidence, especially on her red zone throws and awareness. They have a dynamic offensive system that doesn't rely too heavily on one play or style, and their defense is all around very solid. Like I said, Valor is definitely a threat this year and could honestly beat anyone in the state if they have things going their way. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Ralston Valley Mustangs. That was a pretty rough set of games here for the Mustangs. I will give them some slack for the Arvada West game because no one was going to beat Arvada West the way they were playing on Saturday, but that Valor game definitely concerned me a bit. The Mustangs are way too talented and way too well coached to lose like that to a Valor team that is playing top 10 competition for the first time this year. Offensively, it is clear that they are quite limited as far as shots downfield goes. They like to play a quick game with a lot of drag routes and quick outs to their receivers to get the ball in space to them. And that type of play style will definitely get you wins against the weaker, newer opponents, but it doesn't translate as well against the more established programs like Valor or Arvada West. Teams like Arvada West are deadly offensively because their QB is able to get out of the pocket and make plays, but for Ralston Valley, it seems like it is a lot of one-read throws to Emma O'Connor or Ashlyn Callahan. I understand that Ralston is playing to the best of their QB, Zozal's ability, but I genuinely think that she has the talent and experience to get out of the pocket, take more risks downfield, and open up that playbook a bit. The Mustangs are still easily a top 10 team in the state, but I'd really like to see them take more risks offensively so that they are able to compete in these games against other top squads. And that, folks, will wrap things up here for the Saturday recaps at the NAC Stadium. This is Gino with the Playmakers Corner podcast, and I want to thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next week. Peace out.
All right, thank you, Gino and Kodey, for those recaps, but I'm bringing you one more recap from a game that we were able to attend to live, a 4A showdown here between Pomona, who we got ranked at 3 last week, versus number 5 Green Mountain, facing off in a pretty big time matchup here. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the action. A lot of fireworks pretty early on in this game here. So here we go. In the first quarter, Green Mountain starts with it at quarterback is number 8, Chloe Verbeek, their senior quarterback and captain, that is. And to start, she gets the party started with a deep pass to number 25 here. That's the tall freshman, Marissa Van Gilder, who goes ahead and brings in a tough physical catch on the post route and makes it 1st and 5 approaching midfield. Following that, she throws it to the flat to fellow captain and senior Sasha Kalani, who basically gets no gain, but there is a PI called on that, so now it's 1st and 15 past midfield. Now, number 8 for Green Mountain, Chloe Verbeek, she decides to go ahead and drop back and pass here, and she passes it, but this one is intercepted by senior Emily Abeda of Pomona, who just jumps this route, and she not only jumps this route, but she takes it to the house to give Pomona the 6-0 lead. The PAT would be good here as Jay Cordova would find a receiver to make it 7-0 at the 10-17 mark. Pomona striking early, this time on defense. Now Green Mountain, they take over, looking to tie this one up down pretty early here, and they go ahead and hand it off to number 6, Kara Harris, who makes it 3rd and 4 after a pass was stopped at the line. So 2 plays later, it's 3rd and 4. Then on 3rd down here, Chloe Verbeek goes ahead and throws it up, a jump ball here deep to the freshman Marissa Van Gilder, and she just out jumps this defense and catches a tough contested catch to make it 1st and 7 approaching midfield. Verbeek, she continues to feed Van Gilder on this drive here as she goes back to her on 1st down. Another jump ball here. This time she brings in a tough pass to make it 1st down, past midfield, 1st and 15 actually. After a close call, dropped interception by Pomona, it's now 2nd down. They just hand it off left to Sasha Kalani, who gets the edge and uses her speed, accelerating to put them into the red zone. It's now 1st and 16. On 1st down, though, there's an incompletion. On 2nd down, though, they go back to Kalani, who makes a couple players miss with some nifty moves to make it a very manageable 2nd and 6 following that. Or, excuse me, that would be 3rd and 6 following that. So there you go there. But then after that, they would go ahead and throw an incompletion. So then it would be 4th down here. And then on 4th down, here's what happens. Verbeek drops back and she throws it right. A jump ball again to 25, Marissa Van Gilder. And she comes down with it to go ahead and put them up 7, or not up, but go ahead and score a touchdown for Green Mountain to make it 7-6. But then they would go for 2 on the PAT. And then it would be incomplete, but a PI would be thrown, personal or pass interference penalty, and so then they would go for it again, a 2-point conversion. They would throw a deep out route here to number 6, that would be Kara Harris, who would bring it in and then give them the 8-7 lead. And so Pomona, they take over with 5:16 left, looking to make something happen. They go ahead and start pretty quick here with a nice hitch to, it looks like number 13, but that player's not listed on the roster, so maybe I made a mistake there, but just throwing that out there. Either way, she makes it 1st and 16. Following that, Cordova, she goes ahead and scrambles left here to make it 2nd and 2. She then throws the quick hitch to Arvada, who gets across midfield and more, making it 1st and 10 past the midfield. Then Cordova throws the quick out to number 16, Laurel Elliott, the junior, who gets the 1st down, putting them in the red zone here just barely, 1st and 18. On 1st down, Cordova scrambles left. She gets about 5 yards there. Then on 2nd down, Cordova evades the rush from Green Mountain and finds the drag route. This time it's back to Laurel Elliott here, who goes ahead and makes it a very manageable 3rd and 6. But then there's a false start on the offense, so now it's 3rd and 11. And then things kind of get worse as there is a diving sack on 3rd and 11 by Sasha Kalani here to make it now 4th and long. Pomona, they decide to call a timeout here with 1:03 left. But out of the timeout, here we go, 4th and long in the red zone technically still. Cordova gets a snap, rolls out left, finds Emily Arvada for the touchdown as she walks it in here to make it 13-8. The PAT would be no good, but Pomona retaking the lead early on here. Now for Green Mountain, they would start with about 54 seconds left, but after an out route to Olivia Wallace for a couple, making it 2nd and 1, and then an incomplete deep shot which is dropped, paired with another incompletion here. Green Mountain, to start the 2nd quarter, would pretty much go 3 and out and punt it here. Or at least I thought they would punt it. Instead, they were going for it on 4th down. But it doesn't matter as Jay Cordova gets a big sack to push them back as they tried to go for it there. I thought they were going to punt it as they were very well into their own territory. But instead, they go for it and they fail here. And so now Pomona with a 1st down in the red zone on the 11-yard line. Trying to take advantage of this, they throw the quick hitch route to Laurel Elliott to make it 2nd and 6. Following that, Cordova squeezes it in a tough throw on the out route to number 22, Timberly Martinez, who powers through the defense and reaches out to make it 19-8 with 10:22 left here only in the second quarter. And then Cordova on the PAT, which is run it up the middle to make it 20-8, as it looks like Pomona has a pretty good lead here. Now, Green Mountain, they try to get something going here, and they do get what looks like to be a first down. A handoff to Sasha Kalani would give them that first down, but a couple plays later, it is third down, or second down, I want to say, and they throw it deep once more, and Emily Arvada is there for another interception. But she's not able to return it for a pick six, but still though, Pomona with the opportunity to go up 3 scores with 6:55 left here in the second quarter. So here we go, 1st and 10 past the midfield here. Cordova drops back, but she is sacked by number 6, Kara Harris. But there is also a penalty thrown for illegal contact. So now it's 2nd and 25. But then before they could run a play, there would be another penalty, now making it 2nd and 35 for Pomona. And so they call a timeout at 6:06 left here, trying to gather themselves after a sack and a couple penalties. And after the timeout, 2nd and long here, they go ahead and drop back Cordova. But once more, this Green Mountain pressure gets to her, and she is sacked by Caitlin Hurdle here, the senior, who makes it now 3rd and extremely long, more than 35 yards here. They go ahead and run a play on 3rd down, but it's just a check down, and that's stopped immediately, obviously nowhere close to the first down marker. So they are now forced to basically punt it, going 3 and out after a sack and some tough penalties. And so Green Mountain avoids disaster potentially there, as they take over with a first and 10 approaching midfield with 4:44 left. But this drive doesn't go well for them. First down is a pass deflection. On second down, it's a handoff to Kalani here, who gets a nice gain, but flag guarding thrown on her will now make it 3rd and 15. Then they go ahead and check it down to Kalani, who goes nowhere. So that basically ends in a 3 and out. And so Pomona takes over with 3:13 left, 1st and 5. On first down here, Jay Cordova cuts up the middle to make it 1st and 15. On the next play, she then rolls out right and throws a quick throw here to Laura Martinez to make it now 2nd and 13 on the short gain. She would then roll out right again, and this time throw the out to Laurel Elliott, who would go ahead and make it 3rd and 5. And then on 3rd down, Cordova scrambles left, but is stopped just short of midfield. It's basically 4th and inches. Pomona, I think, calls their last timeout at 1:03. And then out of the timeout, they call a play here, but the snap is way too low as it hits the ground before it even gets to Cordova. So a tough turnover on downs. Green Mountain taking over with a 1st and 15 across midfield here. So here we go, Green Mountain trying to cut into this lead before half. Here's what happens. They go ahead and throw a jump ball up the seam here to, you guessed it, it's Marissa Van Gilder, who comes down with it to make it 1st and 20 in the red zone. After an incompletion knocked down on first down, it's now 2nd down here, and the quarterback for Green Mountain, Verbeek, finds Van Gilder over the middle on a nice dig route for a solid gain to make it 3rd and 11. And then to end this drive here, Chloe Verbeek goes ahead and throws a slant to Kara Harris, who races towards the left side and beats the defense there to make it 20-14 here. Green Mountain would go for 2, but this pass would be knocked down and intercepted by Timberly Martinez, keeping it at 20-14. That would basically be the score here going into the start of the 3rd quarter, where Pomona would start with it here, and it would start out pretty solid. They would go ahead and get a nice first down here, thanks to Cordova finding Timberly Martinez, but a couple plays later, they find themselves in a 3rd down situation after an unfortunate a 3rd and 5 situation, where Cordova rolls left here and finds Arvada on the out route for the first down past midfield, making it 1st and 15. But then eventually they would find themselves in an unfortunate 3rd down situation, which happened by a incompletion, a dropped snap, bringing up a 3rd and long here. And then on 3rd and long, Cordova will roll out left and throw it, but this one would be dropped, so Pomona would be forced to punt it. Now for Green Mountain, they're trying to tie this one as they have an opportunity. It starts out pretty promising with a post route first down to Van Gilder, who makes a tough catch here followed by a check down to Kalani, who cuts it up past midfield for a first down, 1st and 15. But then on 1st and 15, this one would be picked off by number 8, I believe, of Pomona, which isn't listed on here, which I don't know why, but it would be picked off by her, and so Pomona would have a 1st and 3 approaching midfield. Now, first down here, they would go ahead and throw the out to number 16. That's Laurel Elliott. That would give them the first down again past midfield. Another first down past midfield. Sorry, so they were approaching midfield, and then this Elliott out route would give them the first past midfield. So now it's 1st and 17 here. On 1st and 17, Cordova throws the corner to number 8, but this one is dropped here. On 2nd, she throws the out route here to Arvada, making it 3rd and 10. And then on 3rd down, she throws it, and it's almost intercepted by Green Mountain, but fortunately dropped here. So that brings up 4th and 10 here. And obviously, Pomona goes for it, looking for a knockout punch, but good defense by Green Mountain forces the incompletion. And so here we go. Now in the 4th quarter, Green Mountain still trailing, but with the 1st and 10 approaching midfield at 11:20. Here's what happens. The drive starts with a quick check down to Kalani here, who goes ahead and makes it 2nd and 10. Then there's a pretty ill-advised throw that's batted down by Melissa Riskowski, I want to say the junior, and intercepted by fellow junior Timberly Martinez to go and end that drive. But Pomona would not get too much going here, as they would suffer a drop, an incompletion on a miscommunication, and then a short run here, plus another incompletion that would force a turnover on down. So Green Mountain would take over with 8:13 left, 1st and 12 approaching midfield. This drive would go ahead and start with a nice little out route here to make it 2nd and 8. Following that, Verbeek throws a great corner throw to number 24. That's Carson Rodenberg for a big splash play, making it 1st and 20. Now in the red zone, she then throws a jump ball post to number 5. That's Julia Schaefer, who comes down with the physical catch, making it 2nd and 7. They would then hand it off to Kara Harris, who cuts it upfield before diving for the end zone, but falls just short here. So now it's 3rd and 3. They then hand it off to Sasha Kalani in left, who beats the defenders to the edge and runs it in to tie this game at 20-20 with 5:30 left here in the 4th quarter. Now, Pomona would call a timeout for this PAT, but it would not matter, as after the timeout, Chloe Verbeek would throw a dot to number 24 here, Rodenberg, to officially retake the lead 21-20. And so Pomona takes over with 5:30 left, a chance to potentially win this game, but it doesn't start great, as a false start would make a 1st and 5 a 1st and 10. But following that, Cordova would scramble up the middle to get those 5 yards back. She would then throw the quick out route here to Laurel Elliott to make it a 1st down, a 1st and 19. Cordova would then roll out left and throw the corner to Arvada, but it's a little low here. It could have been caught though, so I would say it's dropped. So now that brings up 2nd. On 2nd, Cordova scrambles right for a pretty big gain, so now it's 3rd and 3 here. On 3rd down, she then checks it down to Timberly Martinez, who gets the first pass in midfield as Pomona is rolling. Following that play here, she would go ahead and throw the drag route to Arvada, who makes it 2nd and 13. Cordova would then just scramble up the middle to make it 3rd and 5, and then Pomona would call a timeout at 1 minute 37 seconds. Out of the timeout on 3rd down here, Cordova throws the out route here to Laurel Elliott, who gets the first down, but there's a penalty for illegal contact, now making that 3rd and 10. And so on 3rd and 10 here, Pomona with the ball, Cordova gets the snap out of shotgun and then throws the out and up route to number 14. That's Arvada, who brings in a diving catch to go ahead and give them the first down. It's also a penalty on Green Mountain. So now it's 1st and 4 with a minute 22. Plenty of time here to score and retake the lead. And so here's what happens. Cordova on 1st down scrambles left, almost scores here, but they call her down. It's 2nd and 1. Green Mountain calls a timeout at 50.2 seconds left. Following that here, Cordova, I think, looks to scramble, but she is stopped for a loss by Savannah Trotter. So now that brings up 3rd and 4 here. And on 3rd and 4, Cordova gets a snap, rolls right, throws it, and it's picked off by number 5, Julia Schaefer here, to pretty much end this game. But to go ahead and put the icing on the cake, number 8, Chloe Verbeek drops back and throws a slant to Kara Harris, who burns this defense to the house to seal this one at 27-20 as Green Mountain gets a big-time win over Pomona in an absolute thriller of a game. I think playmaker of the game absolutely has to be Marissa Van Gilder, who made big play after big play, a lot of splash plays here, and is definitely a playmaker of the week candidate for us here on the podcast. And I mean, they couldn't have done it without her, but also the defense of this Green Mountain team played well, and this team in general was very resilient, even being down 2 scores to Pomona. Now, if you're Pomona, I mean, you had your chance to retake the lead. It was just a very unfortunate interception there. You also had multiple chances to go up by 3 scores. They just could not close out, which seems to be a little bit of a pattern so far this season. And so we'll see what happens moving forward here. But I know this is definitely a tough pill to swallow for a Pomona team that went head-to-head, toe-to-toe with a very talented Green Mountain squad. And so there you go there. That would be your final score in this one. Green Mountain winning 27-20 over Pomona. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about the games we weren't able to attend live. Starting with Tuesday, September 3rd here. Only 2 games this day, but Chaparral would go ahead and beat Rock Canyon 35-6. Zoe Fink, 22 of 33. 216 yards, 4 touchdowns to 3 picks, though. Not her most efficient game here, but still getting a big win here. Sophia O'Donnell, 13 carries, 136 yards, a touchdown. Sydney Matthews was their lead receiver, 6 receptions, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns, followed by Nicole Cook, who had 7 receptions, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On defense, Molly McWilliams had 6 tackles, 4 sacks. 4 of the 7 sacks from this team from also Brantley, Matthews, and Roberts. And then Chloe Petrillo had 2 interceptions of 5 from the Chaparral defense. Also intercepting passes was Paige Fink, Matthews, and Landgren, as Chaparral dominates Rock Canyon and continues to roll. Now, in a pretty shocking game here on Tuesday, Thunder Ridge beats Regis Jesuit 20-0. No stats from this one, but a very clear win over Regis Jesuit. All right, now moving on to the games from Wednesday, September 4th. We go ahead and have Lakewood. They would beat Arvada 38-6 for one of their first wins of the season here so far. Then we had Aurora West College Prep Academy beating Gateway 18-0. Sophomore Satu Sai, I want to say, had 4 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown. Sophomore Maria Gutierrez Benitez had 7 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown, plus a pick 6 in that one. In addition, Rangeview would beat Aurora Central 27-6. North Glen would beat Legacy and dominating them 31-0. In that one for North Glen, Sydney Reese backing at quarterback. She won 13 of 24, 134 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks though, but had 35 rushing yards. Evelyn Jaimes, the junior, I want to say, was their lead receiver with 7 receptions, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cooper Trinkle had 3 interceptions, 2 tackles. Also had 3 picks out of the 8 interceptions from the squad from Fujinami, Darian Gordon, and Leah Jaimes, who had 2. Gordon also had 2 as well, as North Glen dominates there. For Legacy, Isabella Rapashide, I want to say, the junior, had 10 tackles, including 5 sacks. Kaylee Schaub had 2 interceptions, and then Aline Hernandez had 2 interceptions in that one. Then, I don't know why, but there's no score for Littleton versus Arvada, so that's just strange. But moving on, we had Douglas County beating Ponderosa 33-6. For Douglas County, junior quarterback Jillian Cabral, 10 of 22, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also 5 rushes for 87 yards and a touchdown. Riley Covert, the sophomore, 4 receptions, 45 yards and a touchdown. And then Maria DeKalenko, I want to say, had 9 tackles in that one. For Ponderosa, Danica King, the senior, had 5 carries for 40 yards. Cameron Smith had 7 tackles and 2 pass deflections. And Keela Kraft with 1 interception. Moving on here, Cherry Creek, they would go ahead and take care of Pomona 32-13. Horizon would beat Thornton 18-0. Shea Padilla, a junior, had 6 rushes for 71 yards and a touchdown. This defense for Horizon had 8 sacks from French, Vidapag, Gomez, Harris, Guevara, Morbach, and Fladung. Also 5 interceptions from this defense from Whitmarsh, Warnock, Harris, Waffle, and Padilla in that one. Littleton would then beat Lakewood 34-6. Thunder Ridge would beat Columbine 6-0. For Columbine, Jordan Washington won 11 of 27, 60 yards to 1 pick, only 4 rushes for 16 yards. Not a lot of production on offense for Columbine, obviously. Defensively, Meredith Ernst, the senior, led with 10 pulls, and then there were 2 interceptions between Molly Hawkmuth and Courtney Brock for Columbine, but not enough as they fall in a tough one 6-0. And then last but not least, we have Regis Jesuit beating Chatfield 8-2. All those scores came in the same quarter there, so interesting enough. But Regis just barely pushing past Chatfield on Wednesday. Moving on here to Thursday, September 5th. We have Mullen beating George Washington 38-6. Senior Emily Anderson had 2 sacks and 5 tackles. Sophomore Brooklyn Stathis had an interception. Senior Sophia Cooper had 2 interceptions. And then junior Lily Evans had an interception as Mullen takes care of George Washington, excuse me. Now, speaking of Gateway, Overland versus Gateway, there was not a score for that. Still missing as of today, September 10th. But moving on here, Douglas County continues to win as they beat Cherokee Trail 32-0. Jillian Cabral, 4 of 9 for 39 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Also had 4 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Kenzie Jones, their lead receiver, with 3 receptions, 32 yards and 2 touchdowns for the sophomore. And then Alani, I want to say, De Leon, had 3 sacks for Douglas County in their big-time win. Mountain View stays undefeated with another win versus Mountain Range 39-19. Mason Premier 3 of 7 for 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Also had 23 rushing yards. Gwyneth Marks had 5 carries for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kendall Finley 3 receptions, 47 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then 6 sacks from Harper, Peterson, Artis, and Roberts of this Mountain View defense to go ahead and get the win there. And then last but not least, we had a thriller, Mountain Vista versus Legend here, in what ended up being a shootout here. Ariana Akey throws the last-second Hail Mary deep to go ahead and give Mountain Vista the win over Legend 31-26. Before that Hail Mary, they were trailing by 1, and so a big time touchdown as Mountain Vista remains undefeated in this one. Some stats for Mountain Vista: Ariana Akey, 19 of 34, 232 yards, 5 touchdowns, 13 carries for 127 rushing yards. Liana Rivera, key to this game, 4 receptions, 64 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a tackle and an interception as Mountain Vista gets by Legend and remains undefeated. Okay, now moving on to Friday, September 6th, a handful of games here. Heritage beats Highlands Ranch 34-6. Abby Nichols 7 of 14, 50 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Also had 80 rushing yards and a touchdown there. Caroline Belair, 2 tackles and 2 interceptions for Heritage. Also a pick 6 over there as they take care of business. Legend will then beat Grandview 20-6 here. Maddie Smolin, the junior quarterback for Legend, 19 of 33, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 23 rushing yards. Reese Agnew, 3 carries for 37 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Ava Gavi, 7 receptions for 86 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. And then Victoria Curdy had 2 sacks, and Zoe Matherly with an interception as they beat Grandview. Speaking of Grandview, though, we have some stats for them. Brooke Sullivan, 17 of 25, 114 yards, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Kenzie Dodd had 7 carries for 72 rushing yards. Tierra Goodgain had 9 receptions for 68 yards there. And then there's 4 interceptions by Grandview from Tierra Goodgain, Sadie Perry, and Brooke Sullivan, who had 2 of those, by the way. But Grandview cannot find enough rhythm on offense as they fall to Legend. Elizabeth would beat Mountain Range 21-6, though. Abigail Monchok, 6 of 17 passing, 81 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. Emma Gould here, 12 carries, 62 yards, and a rushing touchdown. And then Sophia Angelo Alfaro, a senior, who had 4 sacks for Elizabeth. And then last but not least here on this Friday night, Doherty playing Coronado in a cross-district rivalry and winning 49-0. Sophomore Neela Thompson, 6 of 9 for 95 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 27 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns there. There were 256 total rushing yards and 6 total touchdowns from this Doherty team. All from Madison, Medellin, Wittenborn. Alyssa Ranks, Santi Keys, Isabella Marquez, Neela Thompson, Tegan Cox, Samara Garcia, all contributing to that number. And then Isabella Marquez, 3 tackles and 3 picks for the sophomore in this big-time win. For Coronado Jr., Ella LaChance, 8 of 14, 48 yards, 5 interceptions as this offense struggled. And then on defense, Junior Kennedy Berry with 15 tackles as Doherty beats Coronado 49-0 in this cross-district rivalry. Now moving on to Saturday, a bunch of games here. If you haven't checked out our live game recaps, make sure you check it out. But let's go ahead and hop into it. Northfield beats Rangeview 6-0. George Washington beats Lincoln 39-0. Thomas Jefferson beats Kennedy 26-0. Denver East beats Manual 14-7. Manual's Najee Cross Jones here had 5 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. Also had an interception on defense. Deja Fox, the junior, had 4 receptions, 55 yards, plus a pick on defense as well, but not enough to beat Denver East. Vista Peak here beats Lincoln 18-7. Denver East beats Denver North 24-7. Denver South beats Bruce Randolph 36-0. Junior Iris Duran 12 of 19, 242 yards and 5 touchdowns in this one. Junior Asha Daniels was their lead receiver, 3 receptions, 80 yards and a touchdown. Senior Odetta Estes had 2 interceptions as South takes care of Bruce Randolph. Pomona beats Bear Creek 27-0 before I would watch their second game. Columbine would blow out Chatfield 34-6. This was not a game that we were able to do a recap for, but we were able to watch a pretty good chunk of it after seeing some of that Ralston Valley Arvada West versus Valor Christian game here. Kind of surprising there, but this Columbine team came to play in this one as they were just a field over playing at the NAC Stadium. Moving on here, Denver South beats Denver West 36-0. Junior Iris Duran at quarterback on a roll. 18 of 35, 145 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Junior Asha Daniels once again leading with 3 receptions for 50 yards and a touchdown. Helen Campbell, the sophomore, had 2 picks. And then Alex Holman, another sophomore, had 2 picks for South. Denver North would then beat Manual 12-0. Zaria Travis for Manual had 2 sacks. Deja Fox with another interception in that one. Dakota Ridge would then beat Legacy 20-6 here. For Dakota Ridge, Addie Ord 5 of 12, 82 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, but had 19 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. Kate Barbick 4 receptions, 76 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. And then on defense, Emery Bowman continuing her streak of sacks with 2 in this game. For Legacy, junior Isabella Rapachieta, I want to say, had 3 sacks. Moving on here, George Washington beats Vista Peak 33-18. Chatfield blows out Lakewood 72-6 here. For Lakewood, Caroline Bain, the freshman, 6 receptions, 88 yards, and a touchdown in that one. Evergreen would then blow out Bear Creek 37-17. I kind of walked in for the last half of this game here, but Addison McEvers, the senior for Evergreen, 12 of 37, 139 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Also 13 carries for 150 yards here. Nuala Hart, the senior, excuse me if I'm saying that wrong, for Evergreen, had 6 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown, leading receivers. And then this defense for Evergreen played great, getting 5 interceptions from Ashley Cortez, Addie Stockton, Haley Hastings, and Taylor Hutchinson. Moving on, Columbine takes care of Lakewood 43-0. For Lakewood, freshman Caroline Bain here had 7, or I guess passing-wise, went 7 of 26 for 142 yards, 1 interception. Also had 4 carries for 25 yards, and then 3 receptions for 45 receiving yards, but obviously not enough in that one. Mullen would then beat Smoky Hill 14-6. Cherry Creek beats Rock Canyon 33-18. And then I kind of watched the first half of this game here, but Green Mountain takes care of Evergreen 27-7 in that one. And talking about the last Monday here, or I guess the last day here in week 3, we got Monday, September 9th. Thunder Ridge with another upset, beating Heritage 26-13. For Heritage, Abby Nichols 13 of 17, 212 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Also had 42 rushing yards. Claire, whose name I cannot say, Claire W, had 3 receptions for 86 yards, but just not enough to beat Thunder Ridge, who is kind of rolling here. Dakota Ridge would then beat Mountain Range barely 14-6. Mountain Vista blows out Ponderosa 48-0, and then Horizon beats George Washington 13-6. Horizon Shea Padilla 7 carries 88 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Genia Harris 1 reception for a 27-yard touchdown. And then this defense had 9 sacks from French, Riley, Moorbach, Waffle, and Whitmarsh in a big-time effort to beat G-Dub. So there you go there. That is your recap from Week 3, all the games that we were not able to attend live. Now let's go ahead and talk about Playmaker of the Week. This week we're going to start something a little bit different here, just so that we could align more to the style of what we do with our boys Playmaker of the Week. But for boys, we actually have 5 Playmakers of the Week. One for 1A, 2A, 3A, 4, and 5A. Since there are 2 classification in girls, we're going to do one for 5A and one for 4A. Moving forward here, assuming we have the stats and the information. So let's go ahead and hop into 5A's Playmaker of the Week. I'm just going to announce who won it. It's the senior wide receiver from Arvada West, Sarah Walker. Had an explosive couple games against Ralston Valley and Valor Christian. Against Ralston Valley, Sarah Walker, she had 10 receptions for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. That doesn't include the 2 tackles she also had on defense, which was big time for her, as she absolutely made big play after big play against Ralston Valley. Versus Valor Christian, she had a pretty big game here as well. 9 receptions, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Walker there, just playing great football for them, and getting them past 2 top 10 opponents by being such a big time receiving threat out there for Arvada West. So there you go. That's your 5A Playmaker of the Week. But your 4A Playmaker of the Week is another receiver, a freshman, and Marissa Van Gilder from Green Mountain. A lot like Sarah Walker, she took over this game against Pomona specifically, making big-time contested catch after big-time contested catch in a game where every point mattered and every play mattered for them. And so for Marissa Van Gilder, she was a big reason why Green Mountain was able to consistently move the ball, even if it was by splash plays. But there were plays that she was making, and they couldn't have won it without her, in my opinion. A lot of great athletes over there for Green Mountain, but Marissa Van Gilder, the freshman out of there, made some pretty big plays that were eye-opening. So there you go there. That is your 4A Playmaker of the Week from Green Mountain, the freshman wide receiver, Marissa Van Gilder. All right, now let's go ahead and get into our power rankings. In case you don't know how we do them, myself and Gino and Kodey, at least for these 4A power rankings, go ahead and rank teams 1 through 10. If a team by any of us is ranked at 1, they get 10 points, 2, 9 points, 3, 8 points, and so on and so on. Then I add up all the points. The team with the most points is at the top, and then the least points is at the bottom here. For 4A, myself, Kodey, and Gino do these rankings. For 5A, it's just myself and Gino who do those rankings. So there you go there. But let's go ahead and talk about 4A's rankings from last week here. Just outside was Denver West. Then we had Manual Air Academy. We put Denver South up here. I will say it was a mistake. We did not mean to put Denver South up there. They're a 5A team, so just ignore that. At 7 was Evergreen, 6 Vista Ridge, 5 Green Mountain, 4 Dakota Ridge, 3 Pomona, 2 TCA, and at number 1 was Mountain View. Now, going into this week, there are 2 teams who finished just outside our top 10 here, but still got votes for these rankings. One is George Washington, the other is Ellicott here. Let me go ahead and read off Kodey's reasons for why he ranked George Washington at 8 here in 4A. He said they are 3-2 and had a close game against Denver South while also putting up some interesting performances. The Mullen game feels a little more fluky looking at the rest of their schedule. So there you go there. That's what Kodey had to say about G-Dub. Gino had to say this about Ellicott. He said that win over Doherty is looking more and more impressive. So there you go there. He means that because Doherty just blew out Coronado by almost 50, and Ellicott did beat that same Doherty team. So there you go. Those are the teams just outside. But let's actually get into our top 10 rankings. But Instead of 10, we actually have 2 teams tied at 9 here. One being Mullen, the other one being Denver West here. Gino put Mullen here instead of Denver South. They are 4-1, so that is basically our biggest reasons as to why they are ranked here. Gino has them at 10. I have them at 8. So there you go there. And they're rolling. Their one loss was to a 5A team in Heritage, I believe. So there you go there. Now, moving on to Denver West here. I had them at 1. Kodey had them up here at 8. He had this to say about Denver West, who he saw live. He said they squeezed out a close win and still have a winning record, so they will remain here. He had them up there last week. Denver West also enters my top 10. A lot of teams losing this week here in 4A, so this 10 or like 5 to 10 spots are pretty tough. Honestly, I should really say 7 to 10 spots are pretty tough, as a lot of teams could be slated in there. So I moved up Denver West there. So there you go. That's Denver West and Mullen tied for 9th. At 8 is their Academy. I have them at 9 here. Kodey has them at 10. Gino has them at 7. They did not play this last week, but some teams ahead of them did lose. That's my reasons of having them move up a spot. Kodey had this to say, well, he just said they didn't play, so there you go there. But them, just maintaining is why they are able to move up in our rankings. Moving on, we have Evergreen, who stays right here at 7. This is what Kodey had to say about Evergreen. He said, big win over Bear Creek, and an athletic team makes us an intriguing squad to follow this season. Gino he does have Evergreen rank. He said this: bad loss to Green Mountain drops them a spot this week. So yeah, I actually got to watch that game against Green Mountain, and Evergreen, they got some athletes. I like their quarterback number 9 over there. They got some receivers. I think it's really just a matter of putting some things together for them over there. So we'll see. I do think they have some good athletes that are going to match up really well with a lot of playoff teams here in our top 10. We just got to see how they progress moving forward, though. So we're not gonna punish them too bad here, as they stay right here at 7. Now at 6 is Vista Ridge. They did not play this week, so they just stay right here. At 5 is Pomona, though, who does move down a couple spots. This is what Kodey had to say about Pomona. Feels weird to still have them in the top 5, but this Green Mountain game was an instant classic that almost included a game-winning drive that ended just on the wrong end. This Pomona team needs to work on not scheduling an absolute meat grinder to start their season. So there you go there. Gino had this to say about Pomona. Pomona finally played 4A competition, but that big-time blown lead against Green Mountain drops them to 4 in my rankings. So, yeah, absolutely got to agree. Pomona has, 1 win right now, which is not good, but they have played some of the top teams in 5A, so you can't blame them. But even in 4A, they play some of the top teams there. I know it doesn't look great having Pomona still at 5, but this is a talented squad that could play. They got players: Jay Cordova, baller at quarterback; Emily Arvada, baller over there as well. Timberly Martinez, she made some big plays as well for them, as well as some other athletes that they have over there. This is a good team, but they do need to find some mojo back here and just start winning is what it comes down to for them to make the playoffs. I think according to Max Preps and the seeding index, they are definitely on the lower side of things, so we'll see. But we know how good this team is, so for now they stay here at 5. Now at 4 is Dakota Ridge, who stays here. This is what Kodey had to say about Dakota Ridge. He said, have only lost to number 1 and took care of Legacy, so there you go. Gino had this to say about Dakota Ridge. W over Legacy keeps Dakota Ridge in my top 5. And yeah, same. I mean, they did lose, right, that one a couple weeks ago or a week ago, but they continue to win. This is still a talented squad. Now at 3 is Green Mountain, who moves up a couple spots here, up to 2. Kodey said this: the clutch genes on display for the Rams, taking a late lead and then forcing a turnover almost had me catapult them to number 2, but I will hold off until their showdown with Dakota Ridge on the 21st. Gino had this to say about Green Mountain. He said, taking down Pomona in a comeback win shows Green Mountain has that dog in them. So, yeah, I absolutely got to agree. I like who they have. They got a lot of senior leadership, which is good. This is a Green Mountain team entering at least their second year, I want to say. So you got some senior leadership. But also, I think they have a rising star here in Marissa Van Gilder. She went ballistic against Pomona. She's just taller and stronger, and she's just a freshman right now. Still very raw. They throw her a lot of jump balls here, but she's tough. She's going to come down with those passes. And honestly, Green Mountain as a whole, I'm not going to lie, it may not be the perfect pass, but these receivers for them make it the perfect pass. They're very physical. They're going to go up and go get the ball in one-on-one coverage, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be their ball when they come down with it. On top of that, they have some pretty speedy players like Kalani, like Harris over there, who I really like as well. They got a lot of speed here. The defense we knew was going to be good, and they are. They're living up to it. And so you got to love what they have over there. This gritty win over Pomona is exactly what you want if you are Green Mountain here. You're making your culture pretty early on here as the tough team to look out for, as the upsetter. And so look out for Green Mountain. They got some great athletes over there, and they're experienced, which I do think plays a role here when you look at a lot of the teams here in 4A who are first-year programs. So we'll see what happens, but be careful of Green Mountain. Now at 2-1, it stays the same. TCA and Mountain View both did not play, or TCA did not play. Kodey said this, 5-0 with a few games this week is a great spot to be in. And I know Mountain View actually is going to be facing some pretty stiff competition here soon here next Saturday, which I know Gideon will for sure be at to cover. Hopefully Phoenix as well to get some nice flicks. And then obviously, just throwing this out there, Kodey, he coaches Arapahoe, so he will be competing against them firsthand. So some pretty tough teams that they'll be playing in Highlands Ranch, Arapahoe, and Gateway. We'll see how they fare, but even then, even if they were to drop a game, it's really hard not to keep them at 1. So there you go. There, TCA, they didn't play. They're dominant. We'll see what happens here moving forward. But that's our 4A rankings here. Remember, just outside is George Washington and Ellicott. Tied at 9th is Denver Westmoreland. 8 Air Academy. 7 Evergreen. 6 Vista Ridge. 5 Pomona. 4 Dakota Ridge. 3 Green Mountain. 2 TCA. And at number 1, for now, is Mountain View. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to 5A here. A couple teams just outside here. North Glen and Columbine were just outside last week, as in week 2. At 10 was Regis, 9 Heritage, tied for 7th was Legend and Valor Christian, 6 Chatfield, 5 Chaparral, 4 Ralston Valley, 3 Arvada West, 2 Cherry Creek, and at number 1 was Mountain Vista. Now here at week 3, there are a couple pretty big shakeups, I feel. Let's go ahead and start with the team that is just outside right now, and there's a couple teams in Regis, Jesuit, Chatfield, and North Glen. Chatfield, they were up here last week. Now they are not after a couple more losses. They just got to right the boat. We know how much talent they have, but they got to get on a winning streak here sooner than later. They are losing and dropping a lot of games. Kind of same with Regis. In a very similar spot, a lot of talent there, but they just haven't been winning as many games. North Glen, on the other hand, has been winning games, just not against, I guess, the best competition, which is why they're just outside again. So there you go. But let's go ahead and get into our top 10. Tied at 9th, once more, though, is Heritage and Columbine. Heritage technically moving, or not moving up, but staying in the same place. Columbine moving finally up into our top 10. Let's talk about Columbine first. Let me have Gino say his explanation. He said a 34-6 win over Chatfield shows that Columbine is here going to be a problem this year. So, yeah, absolutely agreed there. That Chatfield win was not only dominant, but it was big time for them. It wasn't a close win. It was a win that solidified them being in the top 10, plain and simple. Myself and Gino didn't get to watch the whole game, but we were able to catch kind of the back end of that game since it was played at the NAAC just a little bit. Well, I guess it was going on at the same time as that Valor Christian versus Arvada West game, but we went and checked it out. And, I mean, Columbine looked good. Chatfield, they made some plays at the end, but obviously just wasn't enough to dig themselves out of that hole that they made for themselves. Columbine has been rolling too, so got to give them a lot of credit over there. I believe, if I am not mistaken, Columbine only has, their flag football team, that is, only has, 2 losses on the season here. Let me actually go ahead and double check. And both of those losses are to pretty good opponents, yes. So they lost to Thunder Ridge only by 6, and then lost to Legend 26-7 at the very beginning of the season. So since then, they've been pretty hot and have been rolling. Now for Heritage, this is what Gino had to say. He said Heritage has done nothing but dominate outside of that OT loss to Arapahoe. But, Heritage, they did grab a loss here. And this is kind of it's an interesting loss. But they lost to Thunder Ridge last night, 26-13. That one feels a lot closer than it was. Heritage is still 5-2 with wins over Rock Canyon, Littleton, Regis Jesuit, Mullen, Highlands Ranch there. And then that 1-point loss in OT to Arapahoe. So for now, Heritage is holding on to this spot. But it could be in jeopardy, though. I just will say that. Now, moving on to 8. We kind of talked about this team already, but it is Thunder Ridge. Gino says this about the Grizzlies. He said the Grizzlies are on a crazy run right now as they enter my top 10 after shutting out both Columbine and Regis Jesuit before beating Heritage by 2 scores on Monday. Thunder Ridge is on fire. I believe their only loss is to TCA, who is a top 2 team in 4A, which looks good now. And even then, that was a 1-score loss. And so honestly, Thunder Ridge is rolling. They're a team that's hot right now. Look out for them moving forward. They've won a couple games, so that's definitely a team we will have to get eyes on pretty soon here. Now at 7 is Ralston Valley. Gino had this to say. Ralston is sliding a bit after losing both games on Saturday. They need to beat one of these top 5 teams before I could put them back in there. And yeah, I gotta agree. Ralston Valley has went through some tough changes here, losing one of their senior rushers, and then their quarterback Zoe Zoll, after a hot start to the season, has just went ice cold. She has to get her mojo back. We know how talented she is, so really it shouldn't be that hard. They just gotta get back in the saddle here. They have some good players in Kalismo and Carmen Johnson over there, just to name a few, and I think they're gonna be fine, but some tough losses to teams that are now in the top 5 now are going to keep them outside of that top 5, but still in our top 10 because we know what they can do. We just got to see them do it here moving forward. So, and then maybe that's good for them, getting those losses out of the way. Now, moving on, tied at 5th still is Legend and Valor Christian. This is actually the second straight week Legend and Valor Christian are tied together here, but this time they both move up here. This is what Gino had to say about Legend. He said, Legend putting up 26 and very nearly beating Mountain Vista shows me Legend has what it takes to be a top 5 team. Which I gotta agree there. A Hail Mary pass to win the game, that's pretty close. And I think they're the only team that has come within a score of beating Mountain Vista so far. So if you're a Legend, you gotta take that moral victory, I guess, but it's still pretty good. You hung with them, and they're obviously getting better on offense if they could hang with that Mountain Vista offense. So I like where they're at. Defense looks good, but they do got to get a couple more top 5 wins, or at least one more top 5 win in order to move up and take someone's spot. So it's just plain and simple. If they want to move up, they got to beat someone in front of them. Now, for Valor, this is what Gino had to say here. He said, rough loss against Arvada West, but they showed a lot of great things, dominating Ralston Valley. And yeah, Valor was a team that I was able to watch pretty decently last week here. They got a lot of athletes here. The Prinzo sisters are great. Alexis Wood has been the truth for them and is one of the best wide receivers in the entire state of Colorado. And they're just not going to go away. If you thought Valor Christian was going to go away, I think you are mistaken. They got some talent over there. Maybe there is a little bit of a cap of how far they could go, but we'll see. It's still, it's only really week 3 here. Still a lot more to go, but Valor Christian definitely deserves to be in the spot. Like Legend, they got a lot of athletes here. It's more about just putting it together and beating top teams ahead of them for them to move forward. Now, the top 4, me and Gino pretty much agreed on across the board, starting with number 4, Chaparral, who moves up a spot into 4. Gino said this, only one of 2 undefeated teams left. Only reason they aren't top 2 is because they haven't played a top 10 opponent yet, which I do have to agree with. Outside of Arapahoe, who was at 10 for 1 week, a couple weeks ago, that was their one top 10 win, I would say. But other than that, they have played some easier teams, and they have blown them out. They've dominated here. But let's see what they do moving forward against teams ahead of them. If they want to move up, they got to beat teams ahead of them, plain and simple. Or teams ahead of them got to lose, and they got to stay undefeated. So we'll see what happens. Now, at 3 is now Cherry Creek, who does move down a spot. But here, let me read off Gino's reasons why first. He said W's over Rock Canyon and Pomona to stay in the top 3. And I got to agree. They won. They took care of business here. But I do think the teams ahead of them, have played tougher teams this last week. And so them moving down a spot is by the slightest of margins. I'm just making that clear. I think these top 3 teams right here are all your main contenders, all the contenders and teams with big targets on their backs, just being honest. So they're all in the same category. At this point, we're just splitting hairs, to be honest. But at 2, right now is Arvada West. Gino said this, looked unbeatable on Saturday against Valor and Ralston Valley, and I gotta agree, they have locked in. Sailor Swanson, Sarah Walker is the most lethal duo in the entire state of Colorado. If they were to play Mountain Vista again, which they only lost by 2 scores, I think that would be much closer, and I like their chances a lot more as the season goes on. And we knew this. This was the defending state champions. We knew that they would be coming out and defending their title, especially with so many seniors on that squad. And even then, you got freshmen like Emerson Drake and Harper Tillman contributing to this team. There's a lot of talent here for Arvada West. You can't count them out. The only reason they're not at number 1 is because the team at 1 beat them, plain and simple. And that team is Mountain Vista, still undefeated. Gino says this, still undefeated, but that Legend game was a scare for sure. While it was sensational with the Hail Mary touchdown pass from Ariana Aki to keep their undefeated season alive, there's no doubt that that was still a scare. And that showed that they are a little bit more vulnerable than maybe some teams might think. And so we'll see how they respond moving forward. But at the end of the day, undefeated is undefeated. And so that's why they're at number 1. But there you go. That is your 2024 Colorado Girls High School Flag Football Power Rankings for 5A after Week 3. Just so you know, Regis Jesuit, Chatfield, North Glen just outside. Tied at 9th was Columbine and Heritage. 8th Thunder Ridge. 7 Ralston Valley. Tied at 5th is Legend and Valor Christian. 4 Chaparral. 3 Cherry Creek. 2 Arvada West. And at number 1 still is Mountain Vista. All right, but thank you so much for rocking with us. We are trying to bring as much content about this thing as possible and shed as much light on this thing as possible here. This upcoming week, we got some pretty good games that we are going to on Saturday to bring you some live games, but definitely looking forward to covering more. Hey, by the way, if you want to check out highlights that we've caught at games that we've been to live, check out our TikTok at Playmakers Corner / Instagram at Playmakers Corner for those highlights that are there, so you can see some of the action going down here. And I'll just be honest, I think we're the best in the state covering both boys and girls football, so you might as well check out the boys episode 2 when you get the chance. But, thank you so much for rocking with us. Thank you for the support and all the kind words. We've met a lot of people out there that have gave us some kind words about this thing, and we really appreciate it. It's honestly an honor to be able to cover this great sport, and we're looking forward to more. So until next time, I'm your host, Coach V, and we'll catch you later.